I just I just recorded this entire video with my mic turned off. I talked for I don't even know how long, went into my editing software, no audio, didn't know why. Mic was turned off the whole time. Let's talk about this. This is crazy. Former Valve writer hits out on Epic Games layoff. It's not like they're a publicly traded company. It's not like there's some need to hit the stock market thing. This is Tim. So I'm just gonna say what I said in my original recording. Very true. Tim gets called out. And this former Valve writer basically says, why would you want to work at Epic Games? Or why would you want to put in effort if you do work there? Why would you put in any amount of effort if you feel like you're going to be laid off and they don't care about you? And that's true. This is a great way to make all of your employees do the minimum amount of work possible. Why would I ever want to put in effort to a company that doesn't care about me? Maybe you'll have people that do put in a lot of effort to try not to get fired, but then eventually those people are going to put in a lot of effort and then eventually get fired potentially. And then, what's the point? But yeah, so yeah, this Valve writer basically said, he basically said, why would anybody want to work there? And again, this is an article from Eurogamer. It's cut off here. I'll have a link in the description, like I did before. It's not like, this guy said it's not like they're a publicly traded company. It's not like there's some need to hit a stock market thing. This is Tim Sweeney. This is Tim. And yeah, that is true. I didn't even know they weren't publicly traded. I thought they were. But yeah, this is completely just like CEO just being like, fuck it. And I get it, like sometimes, you just have a shit ton of employees. Maybe you hired a bunch of people at a time where you're making a bunch of money and you needed them, but now it's just like, we don't need these people. How do we save a bunch of money? Well, let's, lay off a bunch of people that were just kind of in meaningless, positions. I get that from a business standpoint, but I don't know, it's bad looks for your company, but it's also somewhat understandable because it's like, well, like, this could just be 1,000 people that were working HR or some bullshit. And it's just like, get them out of here. Like, what's the point? But again, yeah, this, it's kind of like nobody knows, it was like, hey, 1,000, they just laid off 1,000 people. It wasn't like, hey, there's a bunch of positions that is just like were useless positions, made up stupid positions. But I don't know. I mean, and then they're going to shut down Fortnite Rocket Racing. Who the fuck played that shit? Let's be real. Ballistic and Festival Battle Stage. Something I want to talk about is what he said, whatever that is, who knows. If you haven't been on Fortnite, good for you. But if you have been on it, you know that it's a slop fest. Fortnite decided to become a Roblox clone and they just let people make shit. Except the difference between Roblox and Fortnite is Roblox, you go on there to play games made by the people on there. And it's like usually, there's a lot of slop on there, but there are some, actual good made games on there. And then Fortnite, you go on Fortnite to play Fortnite. You go on Fortnite to play the Battle Royale. You go on there to play, OG, no builds, whatever, maybe a little bit of Blitz, and that's it. Everything else on there is just honestly slop. Some people play the other modes, but like, the stuff that people make, it really is just like brain rot slop, kind of trash modes. And they're fronting the servers for this. So it costs them extra money. And I don't know why. There are modes on there that like people will make and it's just like, it has like 50 players on it. What's even the point of, having a server dedicated to that? It's just stupid. Ballistic, I played it on launch and it wasn't too bad. And I got a friend to play it with me recently and it was broken as hell. The map had no textures at all. It was just gray. No textures. The first person camera was broken. If you crouched, the camera would like end up going behind. If you crouched in ADS, the would go behind the player model and you wouldn't be able to see anything. The mode is just broken dog shit. It could have been broken because they were shutting it down anyway. And it's like, well, what's the point of upkeeping it? But my thought process is that, it was just broken for a long ass time. And it's funny because it averaged a decent amount of players, at least compared to some of the other Epic certified modes, like the modes that Epic Games themselves made. It's just like there are some modes on there that even Epic Games make that like have 500 players on them. Like what's even the point of having the mode at that point, Just funnel everybody into like your one or two modes. I hate the Roblox. Like I don't know why they went this Roblox route and we're just like, oh, let's just have it so people create their own modes and stuff. It just doesn't work. This is the company that made, they have the Unreal Engine is Epic Games' engine from what I know, and it's dog shit. Unreal Engine 5, I think everybody knows, like you can get it to run well and be have good performance, but nobody uses it properly and it has dog shit performance. I mean, look at Borderlands 4 for one. Like That game runs like abysmal shit. And plenty of other games that use that engine that just don't run well and take a long time to actually, fix up so they can somewhat run on that engine. And it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. Epic Games always try to throw shit at Valve, and it's just funny how Valve does nothing and wins again, as per usual. Like, Valve just does nothing. I think there's a paragraph here that he says that is honestly funny. And Tim has gone from, so he basically also said, Tim has gone from making games to making one game, spending all his time doing that and trying to make as much money as possible. He's referring to Fortnite, where instead of trying to branch out and make multiple games, they're solely focusing on Fortnite Battle Royale, he says. And I guess, hey, Tim, Gabe's better than you at that. I don't know what to tell you, man, because you stopped caring about making things. You make just one game. So basically he's saying, like, Valve is the same way. Valve doesn't really make, full-fledged games anymore. They still make games. They've made a couple, like, games for the Valve Index, and I mean, even look at Half-Life Alyx and stuff. They've made games, but like, Epic Games Store, they used to make actual games and stuff. I think Epic Games, didn't they make Gears of War? Like, they used to make good stuff, and then they made Fortnite. And I remember when Fortnite was announced, and like, the original Save the World, which they shut down, and now they're reopening it, but it's free this time. I don't know, it looks like bullshit. I remember Save the World, and I'm like, oh, it just looked like a fun survival. You could build, zombie type survival, and then it's like Battle Royale, and now they're focusing on entirely Battle Royale, and it's just a conglomeration of like dog shit nowadays, to be honest. Every update, they completely changed the movement in the game, and I'm not a fan of it. That's just me personally, but like, it's just whack, man. Like, it gets a lot of players and stuff and makes a lot of money, but it's just whack. I feel like, even, not that Valve is any better, but somehow Valve is still doing a better job than Epic Games could. I mean, look at games like Counter-Strike, look at Dota 2. Dota 2 is been going on strong, and all they did was just do a new engine change to that game. Same with Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike had some, bigger changes here and there, but, still. Unlike other companies like Epic and EA, which he also singled out when he worked at Valve, he had agency and ownership over his work. That's what he said. So I guess, ownership, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't get why he removed that agency from people he added. Like, why would you care? Why would you... Yeah, this is a part that I want to read. Why would you think that your hard work is going to be rewarded? I worked my ass off at Valve, and I cared about the things I made, and I cared about the people I worked with so much. He said, if I'm at work, then I'm going to work my ass off. Would I do that if at Epic, if they're going to treat me like that and just have layoffs like that? And same with EA, same way. Hey, great job, made Battlefield 6. We dethroned Call of Duty. Here's a pink slip, and then they're going to say Western developers are the problem because they're lazy or something. When you just cut them off at the knees. Yeah, basically, like, why put in an effort if you're going to be laid off anyway? I think anybody that's worked any job ever has had that thought process. Maybe you've been at a bad job or this or that, and you've realized, like, hey, if they're gonna fire me eventually, or if they just think so little of me, if I'm just if you're an expendable asset to them, you're going to do the bare minimum, and the bare minimum will, usually gets things done, but it's not going to change things. And that's the problem with the gaming industry, is you want to have people that really care, because the more effort you put in, the actually more sales you're going to get, the bigger your game's going to become, the better your updates, the more of an industry leader you can be. And like, it's just I don't even want to say it's hard work. You don't even have to put insanely hard work. It's just the mindset of being like, hey, let's actually do this and do that. But a situation like this, I'm not going to read the whole paragraph or whole paragraph article. You can check it out yourself. Links in the description, obviously. I just wanted to talk about this because it's a crazy situation we got here. I love the former Valve writers always talking about other game companies, because they're always just like, you rarely see that where like people will come out that used to work at other companies and are like, oh yeah, this company that I worked at is amazing. I still love them. I don't work there anymore, but it's a great company. You rarely see that nowadays with modern video game industry stuff. You always see like people coming out and they're like, it was a shithole. It was crap. I worked here and it was awful. Epic Games was awful. EA was awful. All of this shit. And now, like, I feel like Valve is the only place, not really the only place, but it's one of the places where people will like talk about it, and you'll be like, oh, like, like nobody really hates it there. And I think the profit to like worker ratio at Valve, from what I remember seeing, is like they make, tens of millions of dollars per employee, whereas, like Epic Games, let's just lay off 1,000 people. And then another thing about this Epic Games I want to quickly say is I remember seeing another article where Tim Sweeney himself said they want to hire people, hire devs with, high skilled devs. They want to hire highly skilled devs. What makes you think any highly skilled dev is going to want to work at your company where you just laid off 1,000 people? Like, why would you say that immediately after laying off a bunch of people? Like, it would be different if you're working on a brand new game or you're like, oh, we want to get teams of people in here, really skilled people. But like, why would I want to go there if I have the skill set to do really good things and make really good products? Why would I want to go to your company to potentially make something amazing, for it to make you a lot of money, for me to gain nothing from it, and then to get fired? I'll just go work at Valve or make my own studio, honestly. Like, a lot of people see, Jeff Kaplan, you see him making his new game. A bunch of news came out recently with oh my god, what's the creator of COD Zombies? Not the creator, but what JC, Von COD Zombies creator, I don't know what's his name, Jason Blundell, that's his name, Jason Blundell. There was a recent stream with him, his company. He worked for Sony, and Sony was like, hey, you got to put this game out, and a bunch of shit happened. I don't know if you've seen that crazy situation there. If you want to go look that up, there's plenty of other videos on it. Jason Blundell was on a stream, and like his company, or not his team that he was at, like a whole shit ton of problems went out with the game they were making. It was basically going to be like a zombies game, like Call of Duty Zombies, just as a standalone game would have been cool. But yeah, it's just crazy how shit the gaming industry is nowadays, and Epic Games is not helping. I mean, just to wrap it up here, if you've used the Epic Games Store, I have, because they give out free games every week, so I do tend to open up the store just to collect free games. I have a decently sized library on there because sometimes they give out like genuinely good AAA games, and they give out decent games, and it's like, why spend money on a game when I could just get it for free? But other than that, it's just slop. I've tried buying games on there, and 99% of the shit on Epic Games Store is just abysmal, like brain rot, asset flip, just dog shit on there. Absolute dog shit. It is so sad. Like, I think I've bought a couple games I've seen on sales, but I've never actually bought shit on there. Like, I'd always prefer to just buy on Steam, to be honest. It's just slop on the Epic Games Store. It's so bad. I don't think anybody could have expected any less from the Epic Games Store, to be honest with you. I don't know, man. I just want to talk about this wacky situation, stupid situation, sad, funny, all around, just bad optics for Epic Games. That's it. See ya.